Welcome back. It's time for our weekly chat with Nick Bontis for Bontis on Business. And today we're going to focus exclusively on this MLSE sale. The musings this week that an American investment firm has talked to Wayne Gretzky, the great one, about becoming kind of a figurehead, I guess, in the involvement and investment in MLSE. Is Gretzky the right guy to hitch their wagon to?
Gretzky's always the right guy to hitch any wagon to, but I don't think it's going to happen. And the reason for that is Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment raised their ownership stake to 80% this past fall. Fall was September, October. It's been a month or two, and nobody is really interested in buying this sucker. Let's face it, there are not that many people out there in the world with $1.5 or $2 billion sitting there in their back pocket. So what would Gretzky bring to the table? A glorified PR guy? I mean, do the Toronto Maple Leafs, the most storied and expensive hockey franchise in the world, need a PR guy? So I don't think Gretzky needs the Maple Leafs, and I don't think the Maple Leafs need Gretzky. At the end of the day, there's only a handful of teams around the world in any sport, Manchester United being one of them, Dallas Cowboys being the other, and New York Yankees being the third, that are worth anywhere near what the Toronto Maple Leafs are. So I don't think the Gretzky deal is going to go through the way we think it's going to go through.
So then who should potentially own the majority stake, and does it really matter, in fact, whether or not it's a Canadian or an American company?
Well, you know, I would love it to be a Canadian company, but as I said before, not that many people can afford it. The issue really is not about Canadian versus the U.S. The issue really is it publicly traded or not, because if it's a private investor, then of course we can do more wheeling and dealing that's not necessarily the purview of the Stock Exchange or the Securities Exchange Commission. We've noticed this pattern, of course, significantly in the UK with many of the so-called football clubs of the UK being owned by Americans privately, and that allows them to pay managers and those types of things. So I think that's probably the route that's going to happen, Nick. It'll be probably an American private investor. That would be my guess.
So what about these talks? We know that MLSE, they do want to sell, or it wants to be sold. So, you know, does this mean anything to the Raptors, Leafs, TFC, etc.? Does it mean anything to the teams in the meantime?
So it doesn't really affect the players or the performance on the ice. That's what a lot of people have to realize. We do have a salary cap for players. That's not going to go away. So whether they get $2.5 billion or $1.5 billion bid for the team, it's not going to affect performance. So unfortunately, our Leafs will have to make do with what they've got. In terms of management, though, it does make a difference because the coaches, the managers, the GMs, they're not part of the salary cap. So you got more money, deeper pockets, you can pay for better management. But I do know a few of the executives at Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment very well. Of course, Richard Petty, Tom Anselmi, Marty Walker, they're close friends of mine. These guys are world-class managers for sports and entertainment. Let's not forget the entertainment piece as well. So I think whatever happens down the road, our Leafs, our famous Leafs, will be taken care of.
All right, good to know. Nick Bontis, thanks so much for your insight again, and enjoy your weekend.
You too.